I never thought my life would shatter because of a TikTok video. For 18 years, I believed my mother loved me unconditionally, until she chose a 15-second clip over our entire history together. What followed was the most painful betrayal I ever experienced, and the day that changed everything between us forever. Before I continue this story, I would love to know where you are watching from today. Take a moment to drop your location in the comments, and hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more stories about overcoming family betrayal. Growing up as an only child had its challenges, but my mom, Jessica, always made sure I never felt alone. After my dad left when I was 8, it was just the two of us against the world. Those early years created a bond I thought was unbreakable. Every morning before school, she would slip encouraging notes into my lunchbox with silly jokes that made me both embarrassed and secretly happy. During elementary school, I struggled with math, and she would stay up late helping me practice multiplication tables until the numbers finally clicked in my head. Money was always tight after the divorce. Mom worked 2 jobs, often coming home exhausted but still finding energy to ask about my day. My birthdays were especially meaningful to us both. When I turned 10, she surprised me with a small party at the local pizza place. I knew we could not afford it, but she saved for months to make it happen. That day, watching her tired eyes light up as I blew out the candles, I promised myself I would make her proud. Middle school was when our relationship really blossomed. Mom became the parent volunteer for my science club competitions. We would practice my presentations in our living room, with her playing the role of stern judge. She never missed a single event, always sitting in the front row with her thumbs up for encouragement. When I won first place in the district science fair with my computer simulation project, the pride in her eyes meant more than the blue ribbon they pinned on my chest. Those memories made what happened later even more painful to understand. How could someone go from being your biggest supporter to your worst critic overnight? People talk about unconditional love, but I learned that sometimes conditions appear when you least expect them. Throughout those years, Mom was definitely overprotective. She needed to know where I was at all times, checked my homework religiously, and screened my friends carefully. I never minded much because I understood her fear of something happening to me. Being a single mom was hard, and she carried all the responsibility alone. Looking back, maybe I should have recognized this trait as a warning sign for what would come later. High school changed things for both of us. I found my place as the quiet kid who excelled academically but stayed under the social radar. My circle of friends was small but loyal. Jeremy became my best friend freshman year, when we both signed up for the computer club. He was the outgoing one, always pulling me into conversations I would have avoided otherwise. Together with Sam and Tyler, we formed a tight group bonded by our love for coding and gaming. The popular kids mostly ignored us, which suited me fine. Occasionally, some football players would make comments about us being nerds or losers, but nothing serious enough to qualify as real bullying. I had developed a thick skin by then anyway. The worst incident happened junior year, when some seniors stole our computer club project and dumped it in a toilet. The teachers never found out who did it, but we had backups of everything, so we survived. My real passion emerged during those years. Coding became my escape and my strength. I would spend hours building small games and applications, imagining how I could turn this skill into a career someday. My room transformed into a makeshift developer studio with sticky notes covering my walls and multiple monitors I had salvaged from the school electronics recycling program. Mom never fully understood my interest, but supported it because she saw how it made me come alive. College was always the goal. From freshman year, I maintained a near-perfect GPA, joined every computer science competition possible, and started saving from my weekend job at the local electronics store. I applied to 5 universities with strong programming departments, dreaming of California tech campuses, but realistically expecting to attend somewhere closer and more affordable. Everything changed during my senior year, when Mom met Ryan. He came into her life through her workplace and immediately charmed her with expensive dinners and flashy attention. I tried to be happy for her, knowing she had been lonely for many years, but something about him felt wrong from the beginning. The first dinner he joined us for, he spent more time showing off his expensive watch than asking anything about me. When Mom mentioned my college plans, he quickly shifted the conversation to his own business success stories. That night after he left, Mom gushed about him in a way I had never seen before. Her eyes had a glossy, distant look that worried me. As weeks passed, Mom became increasingly distracted. She forgot our Tuesday movie nights, missed my academic award ceremony, and started spending weekends at Ryan's place. The refrigerator emptied as cooking at home became rare. When I asked simple questions about her day, she would give short answers while texting on her phone, her attention clearly elsewhere. Arguments between Ryan and me became common whenever he visited our house. He would criticize small things, like how I organized the dishwasher or the way I parked my car in the driveway. Mom always sided with him, telling me to be more respectful of her boyfriend. The Ryan I saw when she stepped out of the room was different from the one who appeared when she returned, his smile switching on like a light. The truth hit me accidentally one evening, while using Mom's tablet to look up a recipe. A message notification popped up from Ryan: "Miss you already. Can't wait for tomorrow. Don't worry about Nancy. She thinks him at a business conference." Nancy, I later discovered, through some careful social media searching, was Ryan's wife of 15 years. Finding out that Mom was involved with a married man shook me. I spent days debating whether to confront her. I had never kept secrets from her before, but the truth would hurt her, and I worried about disrupting her happiness. Eventually, I decided to wait, hoping their relationship would naturally fizzle out before any real damage was done. That decision would haunt me later. My 18th birthday was approaching in April, coinciding with college acceptance season. Mom had promised me a new laptop to replace my struggling 5-year-old machine. The plan was to celebrate both my birthday and college decisions with a special dinner. Despite the tension at home, I looked forward to this milestone that marked my transition to adulthood. My acceptance letter from Sacramento State arrived first, followed by offers from 3 other schools. The real shock came when I received an acceptance and partial scholarship to Berkeley. That night I showed Mom the letter with trembling hands, both of us screaming and jumping around the kitchen like we used to do when something amazing happened. For a brief moment, our relationship felt normal again. She hugged me tightly and promised that no matter what, she would help make this work financially. We calculated costs together at the kitchen table, creating spreadsheets of expenses and potential part-time jobs. Though the scholarship helped, we would still need additional funds for housing and books. Ryan seemed less enthusiastic when he heard the news. "Berkeley is expensive," he commented during dinner. "State schools offer the same education for half the price. Something to consider." Mom nodded along with him, though she had been ecstatic just days earlier. That night marked the first indication that my college plans might be threatened. I continued working extra shifts at the electronics store, saving every dollar possible. My manager even gave me additional hours, knowing my situation. By late March, I had saved almost $3,000 toward my college fund. Mom had promised to match whatever I saved with money from her own account that she had been putting aside for years. As my birthday drew closer, the tension at home grew. Ryan spent most nights at our house, now taking over our space in subtle ways. His toiletries appeared in our bathroom, his preferred foods filled our refrigerator, and his loud business calls dominated our previously quiet evenings. I retreated to my room more often, counting down the days until I could leave for college. The weekend before my birthday, Mom mentioned she might need to adjust the laptop budget due to some unexpected expenses. When I asked for details, she vaguely referenced car repairs. Later that day, I noticed a receipt in her purse for an expensive golf club set. Ryan had mentioned wanting new clubs the previous week. The betrayal stung, but I said nothing, not wanting to start another fight so close to my birthday. The TikTok incident happened 3 days before I turned 18. I returned home from school to find Mom sitting rigidly at the kitchen table, her face flushed with anger. Ryan stood behind her with his hand on her shoulder, looking grimly satisfied about something. My stomach dropped immediately, recognizing the storm clouds gathering in the room. "Sit down," Mom said, her voice icier than I had ever heard it. She held up her phone and played a TikTok video that showed 3 girls surrounding a boy in a school hallway. The girls were laughing and mocking him while he tried to gather books they had knocked from his hands. One girl wore a jacket with colors similar to my high school's, blue and gold. "Is this what you've been doing at school, bullying other students?" she demanded, her voice shaking. I stared at the video in confusion, trying to make sense of the accusation. What? No. I don't even know who those people are, I replied, genuinely bewildered. Don't lie to me. That boy looks exactly like Jeremy, and the girl is wearing your school jacket. This video was taken yesterday, according to the timestamp. Her voice rose with each sentence. I leaned closer to look at the phone. Mom, that's not Jeremy. That doesn't even look like him except for the glasses. And that's not our school jacket. Ours have different lettering and a tiger logo, not a hawk. Stop making excuses, she shouted, slamming her hand on the table. The video was tagged with your school name. Ryan saw it first and recognized the hallway from when he picked you up last month. Ryan nodded solemnly. It's definitely your school, Ace. You can't deny what's right there on video. I felt a surge of frustration. You pick me up once and think you know what every hallway in my school looks like, Mom. You can call Jeremy right now. He will tell you this isn't him. This isn't even our school. Mom refused to listen. I've raised you better than this. To think that my son would participate in bullying. I am beyond disappointed. I thought I knew who you were. You are jumping to conclusions based on a random TikTok video, I protested. I'm not even in the video. How can you accuse me of something without any evidence? Ryan stepped forward. Your mother doesn't need evidence beyond what she's seen. Parents know their children. And your reaction right now just confirms your guilt. My head spun as I realized they had already decided I was guilty. Nothing I could say would change their minds. The absurdity of the situation felt surreal, like I had stepped into someone else's life. Mom stood up, her decision made. You're grounded indefinitely. No electronics, no going out except for school. Your birthday celebration is canceled. I will not reward this kind of behavior. You can't cancel my birthday. I'm turning 18. I argued, shock, turning to anger. I can, and I am. Hand over your phone, laptop, and gaming console right now. I stared at her in disbelief. This is insane. You won't even verify if the video is real or has anything to do with me. Ryan moved toward me threateningly. Do as your mother says, or I'll remove them myself. With trembling hands, I surrendered my devices, watching as Mom locked them in her bedroom closet. The laptop I had saved for months to help purchase would now be inaccessible during crucial final project deadlines. My phone contained all my contacts and authentication apps for college communications. But worse was yet to come. Mom informed me she had already called several parents, including Jeremy's mom, to apologize for my behavior. She had also emailed my guidance counselor about the incident. My reputation was being destroyed over a case of mistaken identity, and I was powerless to defend myself. That night, alone in my room, without any connection to the outside world, I felt a profound sense of betrayal. The person who was supposed to be my strongest advocate had become my prosecutor, judge, and jailer, without even giving me the benefit of the doubt. For the first time in my life, I cried myself to sleep, not from sadness, but from anger. Days passed in isolation. Without my phone, I could not contact Jeremy or any of my friends. School became increasingly difficult, as I missed online study sessions and could not access required materials for projects. Teachers sent emails about missing assignments that I could not see or respond to. My perfect GPA, maintained for years, began slipping away. The worst part was the social isolation. Jeremy tried reaching me through texts and calls that went unanswered. According to what I later learned, rumors spread quickly that I had been involved in some form of cyberbullying. Former friends gave me confused looks in hallways, not sure what to believe. Without my side of the story available, the whispers grew louder. At home, Mom and Ryan acted as if I had committed a serious crime. They spoke around me rather than to me. Dinner conversations excluded me entirely. When I entered a room, their voices would drop to whispers. The psychological impact of being treated as a pariah in my own home was devastating. On the third day of my punishment, Jeremy showed up at our front door, concerned about my sudden disappearance from his life. Mom initially tried to turn him away, but he insisted on seeing me. Their conversation in the entryway became heated enough that Mom finally allowed him inside, if only to avoid creating a scene for the neighbors. Ace, what is going on? You haven't. Answered any messages for days, Jeremy said when he saw me. Before I could answer, Mom interrupted. Jeremy, I want you to know that we've addressed Ace's behavior. He won't be bothering you anymore. Jeremy looked utterly confused. Bothering me? What are you talking about? The bullying incident. The TikTok video. Mom explained, her confidence wavering slightly at Jeremy's genuine bewilderment. What TikTok video? I haven't been bullied, Jeremy stated firmly. Mom retrieved her phone and showed him the video. Jeremy squinted at it, then shook his head. That's not me. I don't even own a backpack like that. And that's not our school. Look at the lockers. Ours are blue, not green. A heavy silence filled the room. Ryan, who had been listening from the kitchen, joined us with arms crossed defensively. It looks exactly like your school to me. Jeremy stood his ground. It's not. That's Northridge High. Their colors are similar, but they have a hawk mascot, not a tiger. Their hallways have that distinctive green trim. We played their debate team last month. The truth hung in the air, undeniable, now that an outside witness had confirmed it. Mom looked at the video again, this time noticing details she had missed in her anger. The Northridge logo was indeed visible in one corner of the frame. I thought, she stammered, her certainty crumbling. I expected an immediate apology, but it never fully came. Instead, she merely said, well, there seems to have been a misunderstanding. Ryan quickly jumped in. You should have been clearer from the beginning, Ace. You caused your mother unnecessary stress. The absurdity of him blaming me for their mistake was too much. I tried to tell you both repeatedly. You refused to listen to anything. I said. Mom looked uncomfortable, but said nothing to contradict Ryan. Jeremy watched this exchange with growing concern, finally understanding the situation. Mrs. Wilson, Ace isn't involved in any bullying. Hess one of the kindest people at school. Everyone knows that Jeremy said trying to help. After Jeremy left, I expected my punishment would end. Instead, Mom only returned my school laptop, keeping my personal devices locked away. You still showed disrespect in how you spoke to us. The grounding stands, but you can have your school computer back for homework. When I asked about my birthday celebration and the promised laptop, she avoided my eyes. We will discuss that later. I need time to think. Ryan smiled thinly at me when Mom wasn't looking. In that moment, I realized he had deliberately encouraged her overreaction. He wanted a wedge between us, and he had found the perfect opportunity to create one. My 18th birthday arrived with no acknowledgement. I woke up to an empty house and a note saying Mom and Ryan had gone out for the day. No card, no present, not even a happy birthday. The milestone I had looked forward to for months passed as if it were any other day. That evening I heard them return laughing and carrying shopping bags. They had gone out to a fancy dinner without me, based on the restaurant receipt that fell from Mom's purse. While searching for a pen in the office later that night, I discovered something that broke my heart completely. A return receipt for the laptop that had been promised to me. It had been purchased and then returned 2 days after the TikTok incident. The betrayal cut deeper than I could have imagined. Not only had she punished me based on false accusations, but she had also used the situation as an excuse to renege on a promise she had likely never intended to keep. Ryan had become her priority, not me. More discoveries followed. While looking through financial documents for my college financial aid forms, I found statements showing my college fund had been significantly depleted. Over $10,000 had been withdrawn in the past 3 months, coinciding exactly with Ryan's appearance in our lives. Cross-referencing withdrawal dates with events revealed a pattern. The large withdrawal on March 5th matched the date of Ryan's business trip to Vegas. Another matched the down payment date on his new car. My college money, saved over years of Mom's careful budgeting, was being spent on a man who was cheating on his wife. I sat on my bed, surrounded by the evidence, feeling numb. Every belief I had about my mother and our relationship crumbled around me. The person who had packed encouraging lunch notes and stayed up late helping with math homework had become someone who would sacrifice my future for a manipulative boyfriend. The next morning I asked directly about my college fund. Mom became defensive immediately. College expenses are my business to handle. You don't need to worry about that. It's my future, I insisted. I have a right to know if the money you promised is still there. She averted her eyes. There have been some necessary adjustments. Ryan has helped me realize we need to be more financially prudent. Prudent. By spending my college money on his Vegas trip, I asked, revealing what I had discovered. Her face flushed with anger and embarrassment. You had no right to go through my financial records. And you had no right to spend money that was promised for my education. Ryan, who had been listening from the hallway, stormed in. Your mother works hard for her money and can spend it however she chooses. You're an adult now. Figure out your own college funding. So you admit it. You took my college money. I asked Mom, directly ignoring Ryan. Her silence was confirmation enough. In that moment, something broke inside me. The last thread of trust snapped. I want my property back, I stated calmly. My phone, my gaming console, and everything else you took. They belong to me and I'm 18 now. Not until you've shown you deserve them back, she replied, falling back on parental authority that legally no longer applied. Mom, I was never guilty of what you accused me of. Jeremy confirmed it. The video wasn't even from our school. You punished me, without cause ruined my birthday, and apparently stole my college fund. What exactly do I need to do to deserve my own property back? Don't speak to your mother that way, Ryan threatened, stepping closer. As long as you live under this roof, you'll follow her rules. Something in me snapped. Years of being the peacekeeper, the good son, the one who never caused trouble, dissolved in an instant. I stood up straight, no longer willing to be intimidated. No, I'm done with this. I'm done with both of you. Mom, you chose him over me. You chose a married man who is using you for your money over your own son. And the worst part is you're not even sorry. Mom gasped, tears welling in her eyes. That's not true. I love you. Love requires trust and respect. You showed me neither. You threw away 18 years of our relationship over a 15-second video you didn't even bother to verify. Ryan stepped between us. That's enough. Go to your room before you say something you regret. I looked him directly in the eyes. This isn't your house, and you're not my father. Go back to your wife, Ryan. Or does she know you're here right now? His face contorted with rage. He raised his hand as if to strike me, then thought better of it when he saw I wouldn't back down. Instead, he turned to Mom. Either he apologizes right now, or I walk out that door. I waited for Mom to defend me, to choose her son over this manipulative man. Instead, she looked at me pleadingly. Ace, please. Just apologize so we can move past this. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. He'll be gone by tomorrow. I said quietly, then walked to my room. That night, while Mom and Ryan attended some event, I packed everything essential I could fit into my backpack and duffel bag. Clothes, personal documents, photographs, and the few valuables I owned. I retrieved my phone from her closet, using the spare key she kept in the kitchen, thankful she hadn't changed the passwords. I called Jeremy, explaining everything. His parents, who had always treated me like a second son, immediately offered their guest room until graduation. It was only 7 weeks away, and then I'd figure out my next steps. I wrote Mom a letter explaining my decision to leave. I detailed the series of betrayals, from the false accusation to the canceled birthday to the misappropriated college funds. I told her I needed time and space away from her and Ryan. I explained that I was safe, but would not be returning home. As a legally recognized adult, I took my birth certificate, social security card, and the savings account information for the money I had earned myself. I left behind the emptied college account statements as a reminder of what had been lost between us. Walking out that door was the hardest thing I had ever done. Despite everything, she was still my mom, the woman who had raised me alone, who had once been my hero. But continuing to live in that toxic environment would destroy whatever remained of my mental health and self-respect. The first few weeks at Jeremy's house were difficult. Mom called and texted, constantly alternating between angry demands that I return home and tearful pleas about how worried she was. She showed up at school, creating scenes that only reinforced my decision to leave. She sent relatives to convince me I was overreacting. None of it worked. I maintained my boundary firmly. I found a full-time job at a local tech repair shop using my coding and hardware knowledge. The owner was flexible with my school schedule, and impressed enough with my skills to offer me summer work with increased hours after graduation. Between that income and my existing savings, I could afford shared housing near Sacramento State, my backup school that had offered the best financial aid package. Berkeley would have to wait perhaps forever. That dream had been sacrificed on the altar of Mom's relationship with Ryan. I mourned it privately, but refused to let it defeat me. New plans emerged from the ashes of old ones. The college counseling center became my lifeline. Free therapy sessions helped me process the grief and anger I felt toward Mom. I learned that what she had done qualified as financial abuse and emotional manipulation. Understanding these concepts helped me stop blaming myself for the relationship breakdown. My chosen family grew stronger. Jeremy's parents included me in family dinners and celebrations, showing me what healthy family dynamics looked like. My coworkers at the tech shop became mentors and friends. A small circle of trusted college friends provided connection and normal social experiences that helped me remember life could be joyful again. Perhaps the most unexpected development came 6 months into college. My father, who had been largely absent since the divorce, reached out after somehow learning about the situation. Our first meeting was awkward, filled with long silences and careful small talk. But it was a beginning. Over time, we built a relationship not based on the past, but on who we were in the present. He could never replace the years lost, but he offered support when I needed it most. The hardest lesson was learning to trust again. Every relationship, romantic or platonic, triggered fears of abandonment and betrayal. Would this new friend disappear when I needed them most? Would this potential girlfriend manipulate me the way Mom had been manipulated by Ryan therapy? Help me recognize these fears without letting them control my decisions. News about Mom came through mutual connections. She and Ryan lasted another 8 months before he moved on to someone new. She reached out again after that breakup, her messages, suggesting she had reflected on her actions. But her apologies focused more on how she had been manipulated by Ryan, rather than taking true accountability for her own choices. I was confused and not thinking clearly, she wrote. Ryan had me convinced you were hiding things from me. Now I see how he turned us against each other. While partially true, this explanation absolved her of agency and responsibility. She had been an adult making her own decisions. Blaming everything on Ryan meant she had learned nothing about her role in what happened. 2 years have passed since I walked out that door. I maintain my no-contact boundary, though not without occasional doubt. Some nights I still dream of the mom who helped with multiplication tables and packed notes in my lunch. Those memories exist alongside the mom who chose a manipulative boyfriend over her son, who punished me based on a misidentification in a TikTok video, who took away my college fund and future dreams. Both versions are real. Both are true. The complexity of holding these contradicting truths is part of the ongoing healing process. Life continues to move forward. My grades at Sacramento State remain strong, and I recently received a competitive internship at a software development company that could lead to full-time employment after graduation. The path wasn't what I planned, but in building something meaningful from the pieces that remained. Mom still attempts contact on birthdays and holidays. Sometimes I read her messages, sometimes I don't. She has not yet demonstrated the deep self-reflection and changed behavior that would make reconnection healthy. Perhaps that will come with time. Perhaps it never will. I have accepted either outcome as possible. The most valuable lesson from this experience was learning that love without respect is not really love at all. Real love requires trust, boundaries, and mutual consideration. Blood relation doesn't give anyone the right to mistreat you or betray your trust. Family should be the people who build you up, not tear you down. I also learned the importance of validating my own experiences. When Mom and Ryan tried to convince me I was overreacting or remembering things wrong, they were attempting to rewrite reality. Standing firm in my truth, even when doubting myself, ultimately led to freedom. Perhaps the most unexpected lesson was discovering strength in vulnerability. Asking for help from Jeremy's family, from therapists, from new friends, was not weakness but courage. Building a support network saved me during the darkest moments, and taught me that independence doesn't mean facing everything alone. I don't know if Mom and I will ever fully reconcile. That would require honesty and accountability that she may not be capable of giving. But I know that my worth isn't determined by her recognition of it. My future is no longer tied to her choices. That knowledge itself is healing. Have you ever had to walk away from a toxic family relationship? What helped you move forward? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more stories about finding strength after betrayal. Remember that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is set boundaries, even with the people we love. Thank you for listening, and I wish you courage on your own journey to healing.